Today I'm here with ActionSaiyanGamer, a YouTube channel ran for over 4 years now.
Yeah,
right?
4 years,
4 years.
yes.
And I believe you just hit a pretty big milestone.
Yeah, 100,000 views on the channel, yeah.
100,000 views. Now, did you ever see yourself hitting 100,000 views on the channel?
God, no.
No?
I thought this channel was going to die actually halfway.
Like mine. No, but like that's a good point. So 4 years of sticking with it, I guess.
Yeah.
How did you do that? I know for myself, I sucked with consistency and eventually gave up. So to see you do it for 4 years is pretty amazing.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. There's been moments where I was like, I think I'm done. Like I literally got to the point where I thought I was done. There was a moment where the channel did hit its point where it was about to start declining.
Yeah.
Which we kind of did hit that, and then we're kind of getting back up now, I would say, on the channel. But I think like that was at the moments where I think I was just getting too exhausted with myself, so my emotions were kind of going everywhere.
Yeah.
Which for me personally is not like a usual thing, like because everybody I talked to was always like wondering like how I always was like keeping out emotions and like always staying in a good mood. And I just found like at that peak where I was really pushing myself and then being taught by Alex, who's a big YouTuber.
Oh yeah, I know.
I just found like I think I was like really like throwing myself out, and I was just more like saying like I'm not doing as I should be doing.
Yeah. And
I think that's where things just started declining at that point for me. So I was trying to give everybody what they wanted, but everybody didn't want exactly everything on the channel. So I think that's where I was just dropping down at that point. But
how'd you pick it? How'd you pick up from there? How'd you say no? I don't want to quit.
I just kept saying like, well, because like even like with my parents and that, like for moments of like saying like, hey, you know, you can't do this forever. You know, you got other things to do in life.
So you're saying your parents were telling you that?
Exactly. Like I would say that was one thing too. There were moments where I even thought like if I got different jobs here and there, like it would be really hard for me to do YouTube and stuff like that. So it got to the point where I was deciding like either to stay doing YouTube or getting to the point where I leave it and do something else. But there were moments where I've actually been thinking of this too. Like if the channel doesn't do well in, let's say, so many years from now, like I actually thought like doing something that I wanted to do on the channel, but actually pursuing that in like a course in college.
Okay.
Because I actually have been thinking lately of probably doing like theater. And like it's weird to say that because like when I thought about doing this new job that is going to be happening soon, that apparently they're hiring a bunch of people.
Okay.
First thing I thought of was, of course, well, I thought about their anniversary, of course. So I was like, well, that has to go towards that for their 30th anniversary. But at the same time, then I thought like when I started like figuring out how much money I was going to be making for the job, I actually started thinking, oh, well, I could buy, mics. I can start paying people to do good like visuals and stuff like that. And then like even pay people here because I know there ain't gonna be anybody who would take this for free. So I thought like even just shooting like a short film or something like that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah. And
then after I thought about that, I was just like if I'm thinking like this with money, like doing something to pursuing, that would be my next thing for next move. But at the same time, I don't really want to lose YouTube at the same time because it's definitely a platform that gives you creativity and stuff like that, and just it gives you what you feel like when you want to do it, you know. So
okay, so let me ask you, why did you start the channel in the first place? Well, why did you start it?
Well, I started with Marvin and, well, this is, I guess we'll have to go back to Marvin and Mark at the time.
Yeah.
So anyways, I remember we were all posting videos at the time, all of us, because that's probably what we were just doing for fun, just posting random videos.
Yeah.
And then I remember what was it? We started Marvin and Mark, and then I remember your channel was taking off at the time then, and I was like, because I made this one skit with Mike, which was CCN, and anyways, I got that idea from actually Joe, who used to work, who's actually my boss's brother.
Okay.
And anyways, I was just like, yeah, I'll take this idea. Because it started out with Crazy Steve. This is the weird part. It started with Crazy Steve.
I remember Crazy Steve.
And I remember saying wee doggy. And people were laughing at that like crazy. And I'm just like, why is this so funny? And I just kept going with it. And then he said, why don't you make a video out of it? And I said, okay. So we started talking about that. And I was like, okay, well, wouldn't it be funny if it's like a weatherman named Crazy Steve?
Yeah.
And after that, then I asked a bunch of people. People were pretty busy, and then all of a sudden, Mike. Well, I don't know what the hell happened with him, but he was available at that time, and he came down. We shot the video, and I just had a blast doing it. Like I was just like, man, this is so fun, and I'm like, it's so weird, like how I never thought about this, and anyways, yeah. So we had fun making skits for a bit. And then with Mike doing his decision on leaving the channel, which I would like to say the real reason why he left, but I feel like it's really like a stupid thing to say. But,
okay.
But anyways, when he left, I was by myself, and nobody, like, it was like, what's that old phrase? It's like... yin and yang.
Yeah.
Where there's two, like, to balance it out, right?
Yeah,
so there was no balance in the channel anymore, and I was just like, well, I'm by myself, and there's no way this is going to continue. So anyways, that's when I met Alex from IntervIewed Gaming, and he was like, why don't you do something about gaming? So I was like, okay, well, yes, I am a gamer. So
yeah, I was going to say, do you game? No.
I don't know. I'm still trying to make it. But yeah, no, I started thinking about like what to do, and I saw him doing DBZ stuff, and I was like, okay, well, I like DBZ. It's definitely a thing that's been part of my life that has hit personal moments with me, and I feel like, you know, that's something to express to everybody else. So I was like, okay, well, I can do some DBZ stuff and then gaming at the same time, but mostly focus on gaming. So anyways, I was doing some gaming stuff, and then I just got joy with it and stuff, but like I'm not gonna lie, like back in the day, I felt like there's more time on my hands than there is nowadays.
Yeah.
Cause like I'm not gonna lie, like I feel more exhausted now than I did back then when I started. So, but you know, I just keep pushing myself because like I listen to music that's motivating and stuff like that. Because I feel like. You know, because I find I feel so tired, and I find like with certain music, it gets you building back up again, and then it makes you keep wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I look at all the time is like, okay, so if I need to keep listening to the music and keep me pushing myself, then at least it's still going to do that either way. So.
Yeah. Okay. And how is it, you know, from friends and family and stuff, you know, saying, you know, you can't really do this forever, right? Like I know a lot of people, whether it's business or YouTubers, that, you know, they say, you know, their family didn't support them, or whether they supported them a little bit or a lot, or, you know, not at all. No, it can be difficult. So how did you get through that? Was it, you know, you said music was a thing?
Yeah, definitely music is a big help to just motivate you in general, because like I know for me, there were some issues with my family doing YouTube. I'm not gonna lie. Where there's been moments where I was doing everything of YouTube and not looking at what had to be done around here.
Right.
So of course issues were going back and forth out of that. You know, it wasn't like ongoing argument or anything. It was like these moments where it was like, hey, you should be, you know, looking at us more than looking at this job or whatever you're thinking it is. So I kind of had to try to balance that out a bit, and I know that was, like I said, kind of at that point where things were decreasing, and there were moments that it was just hitting me hard, and then of course like you know, starting to like this other person that I met on YouTube because we brought her on the podcast. That didn't work out and all that stuff. So I just felt like that was like one of the most emotional, I would say, out of my life.
Yeah.
And I didn't really look at it in a strong way to try to hold off. And that's what made it decline. So
while you had that decline, was it that you were not making videos at that time? Did you kind of stop for a while, or what?
No, it still kept going. Yeah. Just the only thing is, though, you could tell I wasn't
in it.
Yes, exactly. I was not in the mood for it, and
you were just doing it because you felt you had to.
Yeah, exactly. It was just I gotta keep pushing myself. I gotta keep doing this because that's how I started out. Was I want to get motivated. I want to keep getting better at what I was doing. And just keep going from there. It's like, if I have to get better equipment, I'll do that. If I have to try to figure out editing effects and all that stuff like that, I was like, okay, that bang, that's what I'm gonna go for, the goal. And at that part, it just declined because where I was slacking, and I just got to the point where I was like, I love what I'm doing, but at the same time, I'm not feeling it right now.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a really hard time to say, to get through those emotions, and then and that's why they say comments do affect a person emotionally, and you can allow the commenters to win, or you can forget about them and keep pushing forward. Unfortunately for me, that kind of went the opposite way.
Yeah, it weighed on you.
Yeah, all the weight was going on me, and that's how everything I found everything around me was just not working out properly for me at the time, and it was just going downhill for a bit. So, but I'm starting to feel now, because
100,000 views.
100,000, yeah. But yeah, no, I just found even now I'm starting to get the community back. And I keep mentioning in the videos hey, look, I know I did something stupid. I know people aren't gonna respect me for what happened for that year or two or whatever. But hey, I'm just here to try to get back on track.
Yeah.
And if you can keep supporting me, then we can keep this going.
Yeah.
So I know we're just starting, so it's not like everybody's back with us.
Yeah.
But
rallying the troops.
Yeah. I gotta rally everybody. Find everybody's subscribers. So no, I'm just kidding. But no. If they want to watch the video, that's the way I look at it. I'm trying to make sure that I'm still at that point of hey, I like what's going on, and just doing it. Because that's why I even though I like gaming. And I'm not saying there's moments that I feel I don't really feel like playing a game at times. So I'm not gonna lie, because every big YouTuber actually for gamers are like that sometimes. So
absolutely.
They're I don't want to play the game, but I'll play it anyways because of the views.
Yeah.
And a lot of YouTubers are saying that nowadays. They're coming out and saying, hey, I play these games because I had no choice.
Yeah, it's their channel, it's their content.
Yeah, exactly. And if they want to keep going for trending, well, you got to get up there.
Right.
But at the same time, even though I like gaming, I do like to do other things as well. So that's why
acting or
exactly, skits. Doing other things food or I did what was it on Marvin and Mark, I did a cooking thing, which that was kind of a fail, but then off camera it worked out either way, so it didn't matter, but I like doing some weird stuff just to get fun. If I think oh, this is a funny thing to look at, then maybe I'll do that, and if I enjoy it, then that's definitely something I would do for another time. Someone's asked me about reactions recently.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I've done reactions before, because when I met that YouTuber that came on the Weird Podcast for a bit, she was doing reactions and she was just going up, and I was okay, well, why not do some reactions, because it was new at the time, and I'm I think everybody just wanted to try it, so I tried for a bit. And then I just was okay, but it's not really working out for me for the channel, so I was well, I'll do something else. Yeah, no, it's.
So do you see I've watched your channel evolve, obviously. So like, it was.
I hope so.
Yeah, no, it's great. I can tell, you've constantly improved on your skills, like editing. I liked watching, the innovation in your editing, where eventually get the zooming in effect. And that stuff was too much time for me to ever bother with. But the fact that you went out and you're like, oh, this would be really valuable.
Yeah, like there was moments like Ratchet and Clank. Or Bloodborne per se, like those were like so much fun to do that, but like at the same time, like I can tell like I can't fully get all back to that condition as I was then. But like there's moments where I try to push myself if I can, because like I find now things like distract me very easily now, so I'm just like, oh god, so like people in the house will be saying something to me, and then I'll be doing that, and then I'll be going back to the computer, and then go and do something else, and but yeah, no. Then I had lots of time on my hands. I just was like, I'm focused. No one's bothering me.
Yep.
So yeah, I just found like that was like the good time to do that. But at the same time, I kind of wish I could do that nowadays. But
I think it's hard, right? Like I mean. Not everyone has the privilege of just doing YouTube, right? You have to get to a certain point until that can cover you financially. That's why we all have to work. Yeah. So to manage a job and life things, and then on top of that a YouTube channel, I don't think that's easy. So like the fact that you've done it for 4 years.
Yeah. Well, even like working out now, like I find like I got to make time for that. Because like it's definitely a goal that I look at. But like for something like that though, like I definitely will say like the one thing that will motivate me a lot more is definitely if there's something close dear to me. You know what I mean? Like if like not the job or not like favorite like things to do. It has to be a person per se. You know what I mean? So like for working out. There was that person I did like recently. That people might know because the live streams. I'm not saying. Well, I said her name one time, but at the time,
motivation.
Yeah, and I find like there's a backstory to reason why I get motivated like that. But anyways, it's like it has to be about a person. Like, and I feel like for me to work out like in that way, like even like YouTube or whatever, I have to like push myself. Because of that person, like I feel like I have to do that for that person, and if I don't have a purpose or any means necessary, then there's no meaning to why I'm doing this in the first place. But now that things went by with me and her, I still try to keep that motivation now because since I was there. I was like, I want that still. Okay, like, I felt it. Like, it's weird to say, like, something like that, but, like, kind of like, I guess for DBZ reference, kind of like how Goku breaks his limit, like, now he's Ultra Instinct now, right? Yeah. Like, he's officially at the level of a god, at this point now. So, like, I would say for me, personally, when things were, that I thought was hitting off for us, at that time, the next day, I'm not gonna lie, like I did twice as fast as my work. Like I usually work would take about 4 hours. Okay, I did everything in 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, like my whole cooler, everything worked, like the whole job. Wow. I came home, I did about maybe 3 or 4 videos recorded, done editing, everything.
Wow.
Yeah, so I can tell that for me personally, for a meaning, there has to be that meaning for purpose. But yeah, no, I just feel like it has to be there. And if it ain't there, then there's no meaning to anything I do.
Absolutely. It's your why, right? Why you do things. Why you get up in the morning. Why you do anything.
But it's weird, like, for someone like me, because I know they always say, like, you have to look at yourself. First off, like, always look at yourself.
Yeah, you're reflecting on yourself.
Yeah. Right? But the weirdest thing for me is that I don't reflect off myself. I reflect off of others. Okay. And if they're there, then I know I can do this. Okay. Which is kind of why I still have your card. But
I appreciate that, by the way.
Yeah, no, I thought it was funny to post that. But anyways, yeah, no, just the meaning of like having people around, and that's why like I say like DBZ is a big part of my life.
I was just gonna ask you about that.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
you said DBZ resonates with you and helps you emotionally and such.
yeah,
right?
exactly.
And you just mentioned,
Like
Goku getting to where he is.
His limit, yeah.
So how does DBZ influence you? How does it motivate you? How does it make you feel?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. That's probably like the only show that I can get emotional to. Like, it's weird to say because, like, as for me growing up, it was really hard to be emotional around here.
Okay.
Because for me in general, like you can't really, like when I was growing up, it was kind of hard for me to try to act like a child.
Okay.
For a bit because around the age of 10, I think it was around 10, 11. That's where things kind of went to the point where I had to grow up at that point and actually mature and try to. And it's weird to say, like, for a 10-year-old,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
you're 10, you're 10.
You're 10, like, you're still a child, go have fun. But no, my family looked at it was like, you're 10 years old, you got to start learning what maturity is.
Right.
And I couldn't process that right away. So, learning from a very hard perspective of that era, like, DBZ helped a lot because of the screaming and stuff like that. And I just found, like, when I would see these emotions happening, I would use that time to be emotional in my mind. Okay. And I found that would help a lot more for me because, like, if I can't be emotional out, then be emotional on the inside by like letting it out on the inside. Like, it might sound weird to say because it's like picturing it like this. It's like if you're actually screaming but on the inside of your head, like you can hear yourself yelling. Instead of actually saying it out loud, right? You know what I mean? So to me, that worked out personally like a lot.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and there's a lot of perspective. So like with Gohan, he had to be like Goku, right? Because everyone knew he was like high ranked, he was strong. You had to be like your father.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard for me. Like I kind of looked at Gohan that way too, because I was just like, my life is sort of like that because my grandmother is huge in New Brunswick. Like, first off, like, really huge. And with my family saying, like, you're the last Russi member of our family.
A little bit of
hey! So I just found, like, there's a lot of pressure there. Yeah. And, a lot of my family members were like, you're the last guy. Like, you have to do something about this.
Yeah.
So, because everybody else had girls. So I was the only boy.
Okay.
So I was the youngest. Like, I had cousins, but they were like 20 years older than me. So it's kind of like, well, they're already done with kids, right? So they're like, oh, well, you got girls, and well, you're the last receiver. So I was like, great, I'm the last guy. How am I gonna do this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to pursue what?
So wait, was it a business, a family business that you were supposed?
No, it's not a family business. No, it's just like to keep the name alive.
The name, okay.
Yeah, like like because my family members, like my aunts and uncles, they looked at my
reputation.
Exactly. Like they looked at my grandma like she's this big shot.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Like the whole town knew her. Like the whole province knew her, I should say.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. So like that's like a huge thing right there. So like anywhere she went, people would know her either from television, or from like doing volunteering work or anything. Yeah. So like we can go anywhere and we can get free shit. Like that's pretty much how things worked. Yeah. And like like at the edge of like Quebec to New Brunswick, because like that's how people knew was right there. Because my dad would say, "Hey, I'm Florence Russi's son," and then we'd just be like, "Oh my god, I'm freaking out about it." So
really?
Yeah, it's so weird. But anyways, I was looking at like the way Gohan's perspective about that, and I was just like, man, like I can relate with this character so well because he has to look at these standards up here. Yeah. And my family is like, well, your grandma is up here, so you're the last one, so get the fuck up there. Yeah. So I kind of was just like, I kind of felt a bit pressured about that. And I was just like, well, I kind of always look big, you know what I mean, on pictures and stuff. And I was like I should be doing this or maybe something like this huge thing and try doing that. And I just found like if I can get there and make the name look good, or make myself look good for that perspective, then I'm definitely making like my family proud out of that.
Right.
So that's kind
I
of
think a lot of it comes down to making your family proud.
Exactly. Like I was always looking at like even my grandmother's way too, because she was always a volunteer, and that's how she got famous. So like I always thought like, well, I can make the name big by doing YouTube, but at the same time, I can help out others. I can do our perspectives about it.
Okay, let me talk about that. What kind of, because you mentioned in comments the negativity, right? Like that affects you. But let's talk about the positivity. You must have seen lots of support.
Oh, definitely. There was a lot of people who would always support me, and it's just kind of sad that like now like they kind of grew out of YouTube a bit because now they're older.
Yes, that's true.
Because like there's some people I still talk to. That are fans, and like I've seen them grown for a couple of years now, and I can tell like they've matured a lot more nowadays.
Now they're part of the rat race. They're trying to pay their bills. And
pretty much. But I just thought it was like like I kind of missed those people in general, because like it was just a huge help on my end. Because like they were always supportive people, and it was just that great feeling out of it, where it's like, oh yeah, that helped. Like kind of like how like for you, like where you had someone hold a sign and make a video. Like I was just like, man, that's like so cool, amazing. Like someone from that country is doing something like that, and I was just like, man, like that'd be so cool if someone could do that for me. I always thought about like even like Markiplier, like where he goes to conventions, and I was like, that was like my next goal. Well, I was just like, I would love to do something like that. I would go there, have fun with the fans, just like have fun. Like I know there's like people do like Q&A panels and stuff like that. But like I love when he was starting out was like he was always like in the crowd. For that reason, and I'm like, that's something I would do. Like personally, for me, I would like get involved with the crowd, not be sitting up front, being like, okay, well, no one can come up and see me, but at the same time, I have to stay far away from these people while they ask me a question, and like that's kind of boring. Personally, because it's like because that's all you're doing. It's just you're sitting there answering questions. Like, why don't you get involved with the crowd or something like that? I feel like that's like the best major thing to do. Is to get involved that way. And I know some people have like after signings they'll be like just being outside, stuff like that.
You like the involvement part, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's definitely like something fun to do. But at the same time, yes, I understand that there was a YouTuber that kind of did something like that. That there was an incident that someone killed her.
I'm sure that happens.
Yeah, but like I can understand like some people get a little crazy and stuff. So like you never know what to expect. But at the same time, it's like I would have like if it was okay to do this like in a solid room, like it definitely would be something I would do. It's like get in the crowd. I always wanted to like get the crowd going. I was like, that'd be so awesome to do. It's probably just like when we were kids, when I went on in front of the class and I sang Aaron Carter.
Oh yes,
I remember that. Which is kind of funny to say, because the only reason, because he was popular at the time, and I remember we all loved him. And I just thought it was like funny because I wanted that CD from my sister so badly that I told my sister, I said, I'm going to be showing it to class. Like I said, I'm going to play the music for them. And the funniest thing is that I actually went with it. Like I actually did it for real. Like, it was so funny, like that I actually did that. But like at the same time.
Okay, so I mean that directly ties into YouTube. I mean, doing anything, I think in life, it takes something to start something.
Yeah, exactly.
So for you to follow through with that, it takes something, right?
It takes guts. Let's just go with that.
But so is that has that ever been a problem in the past? Like if there was an audience, you have no problem talking to them and getting them involved?
Maybe at the start, because like I know for me when I did college. We had to do a presentation up front. And we had to present a game, and we had to probably make the teacher intrigued. by the game. You know what I mean? So we had to do like a presentation like E3, where we stand up front, we show the game, explain what it is, and stuff like that. And a lot of people didn't really weren't doing that well. They were more just like explaining what the game was, and that was it.
Yeah.
I kind of took like a step far where I was like, here's gameplay, here's a montage, here's like we're gonna make this thing so much fun, and that's what I was trying to do in front of class. But I noticed like for me like it gets a little intimidating when you're up front. I will say that first off. Because when you see the crowd, you're just like, wow, this is like a lot of people.
Yeah.
But when you focus on the one person that you're trying to like, impress, it makes things a lot more easier. First off, because I just found like when I start realizing that's my goal is this one teacher that we have to impress right now. You have no choice to do that. So it's like you got to get out there, put on a show, and do that. And I would say personally for me, it actually went well. I think I got like a 95 out of that.
Oh wow! Congrats.
Yeah, I know. It's like even my teacher came to us the next day, and he's like, I actually bought that game.
No way.
Yeah, and like he worked for EA. This is the funny part. He worked for EA, and he knew how bad games were and how good games were. So it was just funny to see like a person that was a game developer for EA. To literally come back to us with,
That must make you feel pretty special.
Oh, it does, because it's like, we just sold a freaking game, pretty much, first off. But to know that you impress someone is just major, like, effective.
Yeah.
And, like, even one of my other courses for audio, right, because we had to do, like, a voiceover, sort of, for one of the courses for a trailer. Because we had to learn about audio, the effects of like how everything works is like. So, anyways, we had to take a trailer, and I took Uncharted, which you've seen that.
I've seen that. Yeah, that was cool.
The only thing my teacher didn't like was my cousin's voice, but I told him, I said, he's from the freaking military. Like, what do you want me to tell him? So I can't really say too much to him about that. But, no, my teacher was really intrigued by it. He said he really loved the work. He loved the audio for everything in the environment, everything for that. And then, of course, he said, like, I had a good mic, of course, for to talk as the character and stuff. I'm not saying I voiced Nathan Drake well,
but I think I did a pretty good job in that. Though.
Well, I was trying to, like, keep it in the mood, you know what I mean? So, like, that's the one thing I was like, okay, we're here. It's serious. Like, first off, it's a very serious thing, and I'm like, okay, we can't do much about it. So it's like, okay, so we gotta keep it in the same mood. We have to pretend I'm on a phone, calling someone. It's just, I just found like it was a great project, and I loved it. I got a great mark out of it again. Got over a 90 for it. So. Wow. Oh yeah, no, like literally my whole course was probably 90s. That like it's sad to say, but it was, and I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
Like my art, like everything. And I was just like, wow. Maybe just not for coding, but that's for another story.
That's its own world, right? So what are your plans for ActionSaiyanGamer? Like how, in regards to the type of content that you plan to put out in the future, is it going to be DBZ largely? Is it going to be a bit diverse? Are you going to have different types of games? Maybe skits? I don't know.
Well, for Casual Saturday, it's pretty much for anything. Like, I know for next week, I promised a viewer that I would do a reaction for Madness Combat again. Because I did RE2, and they said 7.5, which I don't understand where this 0.5 is coming from. But anyways, apparently there's like a bunch of these videos out there, and I haven't really got like a lot of like requests, so I was like, okay, well, I'm fine with this request because I can do that easily. Definitely skits. Like I said, if I got that new job, like I said, I was thinking of like the shotgun microphones, great camera, just
bring the production value.
Exactly, it more for just like. For like an actual like short movie and stuff like that. Like that's what I was looking at for next year, because I was just like, it would be amazing to shoot stuff like that. Yeah. But at the same time, like I wasn't sure if like how things would go with this new job coming.
Yeah.
I even thought of suggesting a side channel as well, if I can't do gaming that much, where I thought of doing like some blogs, like maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or some of that.
Okay.
But at the same time, like maybe throw some gameplay on that channel too. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely. I would say more games because the new God of War is coming out, and I definitely want to play that. Because that's what I'm playing right now. Is pretty much God of War. So I was like, I kind of want to show everybody what God of War is because there are people out there that have not played the trilogy, and it's so sad to say that, but like they really missed out at the time, and I feel like it's a sad thing to say, but like I just want to show them what the game's like because like when the new game comes out, it's not going to explain everything about his past at all. Like yeah, sure, like the third game went to PS4, which a bunch of people bought.
Yep. But
you're not learning the full story. You're not learning. Ascension. You're not learning the two side stories of Ghost of Sparta and then the other one with his brother. And then like I feel like people aren't going to see that stories anytime soon.
Let's talk about that real quick. Stories. What has there been? So gaming, we've shared gaming growing up, known each other for a long time, playing games. And
sore losers.
Yeah, being sore losers.
Yeah, that was me a lot.
And as we age, it's difficult to find time to do things. Gaming's one for me, which is why largely I kind of stopped making any content because I just don't have time.
Yeah.
So in regards to gaming, has there been any game that has had like a really good story that you just loved? And you're like, I love those characters. Like for me, I thought The Last of Us had a really good story. Like those characters.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Last of Us has an emotional story to it. Like I feel like they definitely did a really good game for it. Like especially for new, right? Like no one knows what it is. Besides, because the only thing people knew was it was a zombie game.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I guess like an infection.
Yeah.
Thing. It's not really zombies, but they're kind of like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, playing the story, like learning. That's one thing about Naughty Dog nowadays is like they actually make a great story.
Yeah.
Especially with the last Uncharted game, which is like the most like.
I've never played that one.
You probably should just borrow the game. Then,
yeah.
You know.
But you enjoyed the stories.
The story's great for that. But like I would say right now with the newer like the just newest games in general, I would say it would probably be Call of Duty World War II because. I've actually never really.
Were you playing the campaign on it?
Yeah, the campaign.
Okay, yeah, we can talk.
Not the multiplayer.
I just got that game, and I
okay.
barely buy games now, and I just actually my girlfriend bought it for me, and I'm playing the campaign.
Yeah.
I'm playing the campaign right now.
Yeah.
And the campaign is phenomenal.
Yeah, like it's a great story to it. I felt like they were really slacking off for a few years now with their games, especially the futuristic, because I felt like. They wanted to be in this era.
Yes.
But they didn't know how to make a story for that era.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, you're just making it more cheesier as the years go by. and it was killing them, I'm not going to lie. It was killing their franchise. Yeah. And then they realized that they had to take a step back and go back to scratch.
Yeah.
Which was back in the World War II era, which is their first games, pretty much.
I thought it was so authentic, that game. I'm not done the campaign, but it seems like the voice acting, the environments.
Definitely. Yeah, I would say they picked a good actor, especially, like, I don't know if they got it from this reference or whatever, but he was a soldier in Transformers, the one of the main guys.
Okay.
So I thought that was really cool to have him in it, because, like, it works out, because in the movie, he's a great soldier. Mm-hmm. And then having him in this as World War II, like, I just felt like he worked out as a great character. Like, yeah, sure, he does get emotional out of it and stuff like that, which I don't really want to spoil the rest for you.
Yeah, don't do it.
He gets to the point where things get emotional for him, but yeah, no, I just found like that's like literally been one of the best campaigns for that franchise in years.
Yeah.
I would say after Modern Warfare 2 at least, or like 3, or like Black Ops, like the first game or something. Mm-hmm. I just found like when they start doing futuristic stuff, which I can understand, like I think it was Black Ops 1 or 2 where they started putting those future gadgets in. Yeah. And then like it was really good, like having those things and stuff, but at the same time they just kept pushing that gadgets, and like they're great and all.
Yeah.
just you're not making.
They lost the essence, like that.
Yeah,
core.
exactly. Like it wasn't great anymore.
Yeah.
There was like no story to what they were trying to do. Like I think the last Infinity Warfare game was about a guy who was having a mental breakdown in his head because of a virus. But everything you were seeing is like kind of real, but at the same time it's like it's not real.
No.
And it's like
I never played that one, so.
Well, the campaign is not good, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
But I just found like they didn't plan out well.
Yeah.
Because by the end of the story, it was like, oh great, you beat the virus, bravo, right? Like, but what happened to the guy? Like, when he was breaking down and seeing these false memories, what was really happening behind him? Like, I found for Black Ops, right? You were seeing a side story that he was looking at, and then at the end they twisted the story, and they're like, that was all in your head. This is what really happened. Like, they're showing he killed the guy. It wasn't that Russian guy. It was really him that killed the guy. And I thought that was a really cool way of twisting the story.
Absolutely.
And like, they could have did that with Infinity Warfare, but at the same time, they didn't. They were just like, we just left it. They were just like, you killed the virus. Good enough, right? But it's like, no, that's and I'm just like, there's no good story to that.
So the games you play usually have a good story for the most part.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the gameplay at least makes up for it in some way, right?
That's one of the biggest things for me in general is story modes. Like, it's probably because like for our generation, like we didn't start out with multiplayer. Right
That's
away.
a good point. Over the years, I remember I started getting games and it was like multiplayer, and we're like, whoa, why are you going to multiplayer? Because we always started with the campaign.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The other thing about making videos is potentially risking the loss of video footage, and we apologize for the technical difficulties and the video getting cut off. Memory file was max, I believe.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
But we'd like to thank Jay for taking the time to discuss, kind of the beginning of his channel, the battles that he has gone through to get to 100,000 views, the countless hours and videos that he's made, and just share the things that he values in regards to gaming, stories, and skits. And we look forward to the future, the rest of 2018, what you come out with, whether it's on ActionSaiyanGamer or potentially a new YouTube channel.
Yeah, hopefully that part's in the video too. But yeah, no, definitely grateful to get 100,000. So it's really fun, and I just hope to see what happens on the channel, because like we're starting to get more support on the channel now, and that's definitely what makes me motivated a lot more. Is the support. If I know the support is there, it definitely motivates me a lot more to keep going. Yeah. So like I said, we had our ups and downs where nothing was. Like, it was like pretty much dry line for a while from the comments, so that kind of made things go downhill a bit too. But hey, things happen, and like I said, I do definitely want to get back into what happened, and hopefully I can fix everything.
Awesome, Jay.
I guess we should probably shake hands, make sure.
It's official.
Alrighty.